Hello, my name is Jesse Meekum with another episode of the Jesse Meekum Show, and I'm here each week to obsess out loud about spending purposefully, saving aspirationally, and giving joyfully. It all comes down to just giving every dollar a job. One of our writers, Emily, posted internally over at YNAB. She said something super interesting that I wanted to dive into today. They go to the gym, bit of a humble flex from Emily. They go to the gym and they see that there's this used piece of equipment that's on sale. Now, commercial gym equipment is, higher priced than grabbing a couple bags of flour and lifting it over your head, right? And her husband asked, "Hey, could we buy this used piece of equipment? They have it for sale. It's X price." And Emily says, I'll read to you. She says, "My gut reaction said no, but then I took a deep breath and replied, let's discuss. That seems spendy, but maybe it's spendful. We can check YNAB and weigh priorities." Now, y'all maybe don't know this, or maybe you do, but YNAB is the software that you use. Go to ynab.com/Jesse to figure out whether something is spendy or spendful. Spendful means we've eliminated second guessing. Spendful means you are confident and content with your spending. It doesn't mean you're earning more, but it means when you spend that hard-earned money, you love it. Spendy, Emily caught herself here, and I love it. I love it because spendy is a cheap shot. Spendy is fixated on one thing only, price, and whether or not you thought that price was high, arbitrarily. Hey, I got this gallon of milk. How much did you pay? $9. Well, that seems spendy. It's like, you don't even know that gallon of milk has some mutation factor in it, and I'm going to be, lifting thousands of pounds here shortly. Like, that's good. That's a good buy for the milk. When you say something spendy, it's just a price reaction. It's a reaction to a number. And money is not a number. Money is you. So when you're spending money, you're spending, as we've discussed, a little bit of you. And so for someone to say, and by someone, I mean sometimes you to yourself to say, oh, that seems spendy. It's just like, what are you even talking about? What unit of account are you looking at? Because I'm talking about my blood, sweat, and tears all rolled up into this dollar. And whether or not my life is worth this or that, it deserves a little bit more attention than just, man, that's spendy. And Emily caught that. She's like, seems spendy, gut reaction. But it could be spendful. Let's discuss. And what does the discussing look like? Working the 5 questions. Reality, stability, resilience, creation. And that creation question, what goals, large or small, do I want to prioritize? Does that maybe not look like, oh, hey, this piece of gym equipment is for sale, and it might help me create the life that I want, like a sweet, sweet commercial-grade home gym? In their story, Emily said, it did not. They decided not to get it. But that is actually the whole story. Because whether or not you work those 5 questions, and by the way, I skipped over the flexibility question, but it was on full display there. Emily and her husband already had a plan. And then they got new information, like this piece of equipment is for sale, kind of a one-time deal. Hey, do we want to change our plan? That flexibility question is literally, what changes do I want to make, if any? Now, whether or not they bought this piece of equipment, the victory was won. If they said, yes, let's do it, and they moved money around, they were flexible, they weighed their priorities, they felt the trade-off of the finite resources that they have that is that precious money, and they said, yes, we're going to buy it, then they cart that thing home, set it up, and enjoy it. No second guessing, no guilt, no buyer's remorse, just like, man, this is great. Look what we've done. Look what our money did for us. Money is meant to be spent. And here it was spent on this thing. We can't get enough of it, right? Maybe you can get enough of exercise equipment, just the right amount, no overtraining. Then, what if they had said no, which they did? What if they had said no? Still a victory. Because now they can know why they said no. Where so often you say no, you can't spend on this or that thing, and you don't have a good reason why. Or say yes, you can spend on a thing, and you don't know if you can. So what we're trying to do is eliminate all of the second guessing and just be able to say, when you buy it, you own that thing. And I mean that metaphorically and actually. But when you don't buy it, you own that decision as well. So when something is spendy, cheap shot, or spendful, the way you know if something is a spendful purchase, something you really want, is you know yourself better every day and you work those 5 questions that teach you about yourself better every day. But also, they also help the money flow more toward the actual you. And you do that. It's all based around that single, simple, solitary principle that I will repeat until the end of my days. So don't forget it. Give every dollar a job and watch the magic happen.